Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Ayeni Princess. And today, well, I'm not your host.
I am your host. My name is Tony Johnson, and today is different because the roles have been reversed. The tables have turned. I'm the one hosting you guys today, and I have Ayeni Princess, like you all know, as my guest on your own show.
Right, on my own show.
But there's a reason for this. Today we want to explore something different from what we've been exploring in the past, or what she has been exploring with you guys in the past. And it's actually very personal. It's about herself and her mental health, and it's a secret, so to speak, that we're about to expose, and and we want to really explore that aspect of you. Many of you do not know this. Some of your friends may not know this, but Princess has been dealing with various mental health issues, and the objective of this episode is to delve into those issues and explore them and understand them, and let us share about those issues with us, and get into it as much as we can. I'm gonna start you on the question, and the question is, tell us about you.
Okay, my name is Ayeni Princess. Currently a cybersecurity analyst. I recently transitioned, so I'm a junior penetration tester. But before then, I was a product manager. I worked in a fintech company.
Okay.
And outside tech, I have over 5 to 6 years experience in e-commerce. And while I was running that business, it's better than that business, and that's called TIC, an investment company, actually, e-commerce investment company. So I did quite a little bit around coaching, selling digital products, basically just teaching and training people on how to bring their business online, and for those already online, how to make the most out of social media and all. So in summary, I am a cybersecurity analyst, a product strategist, and a business thought leader. So that's me in summary.
That's a very impressive CV. Let me say, if they look myself, what's happening? That's serious. Now let's get right into the real talk. As a matter of fact, we've shot this particular episode for full disclosure. We shot this particular episode for this is the third time we're attempting it, and I believe you had your own skepticism about it.
Honestly, I am skeptical. Sitting here, I'm still not sure I want to release this episode, but because we have been going back and forth, and I honestly just think maybe I'm not supposed to share with the public, but we are doing it still because I believe this episode will probably educate someone out there. And we're just doing it in a spirit of transparency, I guess.
It's like almost like the universe does not want us to shoot the episode, but Princess is a very stubborn girl. We're here again. I'm here again for the third time, but we're gonna do it. So I have a list of questions for you, and I'm gonna start taking them off the list one by one. Now, earlier on, I mentioned about mental health issues. Tell us about your medical journey.
Okay, so currently I have some diagnoses. Okay, so pardon me, I may be saying some things and they may not be medically correct, but I'm just going to say things based on what my diagnoses are, and then what I've experienced. So don't expect medical terms, jargon from me. I'm just going to explain it, how I feel and how I've experienced them, right? So okay, having said that, my diagnosis, so I have epilepsy, so I'm epileptic, and I'm also psychotic, meaning that I suffer from psychosis, and I was also diagnosed of clinical depression. So those three, I've been managing that.
Oof, those are really heavy ones, and I'm not gonna act like I'm surprised, but I know you will be surprised as the audience. Those are really so when we hear these things as laymen, when the general public hear this sort of, I would call it, for the sake of the context I'm trying to paint, ailments, when we hear them, there's a certain way we perceive them, the general public perceive them. Of course, not me, because I mean, yeah, but like the public perceive this conditions in a manner that is, you know, very ominous, so to speak. For instance, we talked about epilepsy, and there's an understanding of epilepsy that many people don't understand, that many people have, and it is quite negative. So, just, you know, touch a little bit on what epilepsy is, per your experience, per how you can explain it on a medical basis.
Okay, so epilepsy can also be referred to as a seizure disorder, and permit me to use this analogy, right? Think of an electrical wiring in your house, and then, you know, there's now a short somewhere, and then something begins to spark. I don't know why I like to use the analogy, but I think that's the way I can explain it, right? Because of the way I feel, right? And there are often triggers, right, that, you know, that you have, or that can, how do I say it, you know, what triggers do that can make you have seizures, right? And for example, my triggers include, but not limited to, because sometimes I just find out that, oh, I am now being affected by something new that I didn't even know before. And sometimes some symptoms go without even knowing. I just find out, oh, I'm no longer reacting to this.
Unpredictable.
So, heat is one trigger that I have. Yes, so I can't be hot, I can't be stressed. Sound. Sound is a big issue. Light, oh my god, light, I can't really stand light. Perfume, I mean, that's better these days, because I used to be affected by perfume. So if you wear perfume and then you're beside me, it's going to likely trigger like a seizure, right? So those are like my triggers so far, like currently.
Those triggers is almost like saying you cannot survive in Lagos. You say heat. Because that's one of the very first things about Lagos. So epilepsy, most people, when they hear epilepsy, they're always thinking about it in a spiritual light, and then there's always this thing where people think it is transferable or it is contagious. Do you want to talk about that a little bit before we go in?
Right, I've read a lot of things about, you know, epilepsy. You know, some people even say, oh, you get epilepsy when lizard water, when it touched you or something.
I don't even understand.
Or maybe you did something wrong and that's why you're infected, you know, with that. But honestly, it's a medical condition, just like you having malaria or having like body pain, right? And I think that's one thing that people need to understand, to know. So if you were following up till this point, you would remember that she mentioned 3 conditions, which is the first one being epilepsy, the second one being psychosis, the third one being clinical depression. Having any of those things on their own is a lot to handle, but having the 3 of them at the same time is something else entirely. And one of the things I would like to say before going further into this conversation is to say that I commend you as a person, the strength you have to carry these things with such poise and elegance. You know, you have a certain strength about you that I personally admire, and I think it's a big deal. And just take it, if I have flowers now, I'll just give it to you right now, because you're doing well as a person, despite the fact that you have this entire CV going on for you, and you're still doing well as a person. So that's me stating it for the record. I respect Princess. So I'm going to go into the next question. Now, when did you notice all this? When did all this become a thing in your life as a person? I think, if I remember correctly, I had my first psychotic breakdown in 2018. Of course, I didn't, at the time, we didn't know what it was, honestly. I had this breakdown at work, and where I was eating my laptop, you know, just doing a lot of things, trying to tear my clothes, you know, shouting and all of that. So I was taken to the hospital. I think they sedated me, and, you know, I was back home. We prayed and I was fine. Obviously, all these things, I didn't know about all these things, right? I was told about the situation, and it didn't happen again until later, right? And I didn't even get properly diagnosed up until I think 2021, right? It would just happen out of the blue. And at some point, we just started praying, like any Nigerian, right?
Of
We
course,
just
of
started
course, of
praying
course.
about it. It was not up until 2021 that I was properly diagnosed by a psychiatrist of having like psychosis.
Okay. So, psychosis. We've talked about epilepsy. And I know maybe you may not be able to really tell us your experience in psychosis, because psychosis is basically you're not experiencing, but what is your experience really with psychosis?
I think what I can say, right, is that when it happens, I'm just really out of touch with reality, right? And I've heard of cases where I'm having an episode and I cannot really recognize anybody, like my loved ones. I don't know who is who, and then I'm screaming, I'm shouting, that they are trying to kidnap me, something like that.
I've experienced that one before.
Oh my god, I'm tearing my clothes, I'm trying to jump off something, I'm just acting crazy. Yeah, that's the word. And sometimes it lasts for a few minutes, sometimes it's longer.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just surprising to see, because they've made videos of me, having this episode. I mean, they've told me, and I of course didn't believe that I would do such a thing. But at some point they had to make videos like as evidence to show like my psychiatrist, and also to show me. And then I'll look at those videos and I will just be wondering who that person is.
Yeah.
Do you get how I treated my loved ones, or how I was reacting? And trust me, it's a horrible scene. It's very embarrassing, and it's why I don't even talk about these things that I face.
So I feel like, yes, you've painted the picture as best as you can, but the audience may not really understand it. So let me give you my own first-hand experience of Princess's psychotic episode. I've witnessed Princess in all her drama.
Wow.
Forget the word drama. But one time I was at your house, and then we were just chilling. I go to Princess' house to go and eat free food. So we're just chilling. By the way, I went one time, and let me not mention this, but she used to give me food chat. So we're just chilling, and then you just had that episode. And then I remember that time I was trying to keep you, control the environment and just keep you together in one place. And then you started biting me.
Oh,
look
wow.
at Princess.
I'm so sorry.
Does she look like somebody that can bite someone? And then you were biting me, and then you were shouting and then saying I'm a kidnapper. I'm like, it is me, Tony Johnson. But like, it's one of those things. And then to experience that as your friend, most people, like the situation most people will respond to in that manner would be to run away from you. And I want to tie that into a question, which is, how has that affected your relationship with your friends?
Of course it has. And I mean, some people are just going to find out about my condition when this airs, and I apologize in advance. It's not that I didn't think you were worthy enough for me to share, but it's just what it is. I cannot keep going around to tell everybody about my condition. I mean, those people that know, like, found out, like, I didn't tell you. I mean, everyone who knows probably experienced it, like something just happened, and then I mean, I just needed to now talk about it. It's not something that you see someone that say, oh, I have this, oh, this is what you should expect, right? So as far as friendship goes, I've lost some friendships, I won't lie, because some people just tag me as socially awkward, because obviously I can't do some things, I can't go to some places. The thing is, if you invite me to your events, best believe I'm not going to come, because there's the possibility that something is going to go wrong. Because, for example, if I'm going to come to a party or to your wedding, there's going to be noise, sound, lights, camera flashes, all of that. So I mean, some people just think, oh, Princess is just not so cool, she's socially awkward, she's just weird, she's a snob, she doesn't honor your invite. And I mean, I've just learned to deal with it, to just move on. I mean, it is what it is. I can't really speak to that.
Well, you've been strong about this whole situation altogether. So now, after that, the fact that we've talked about how it affects your relationship with friends, what are the specific challenges? I mean, I can imagine they are tons of challenges you face, but there are some that they just stand out, they just stick up there in your memory. I'm like, okay, this one is one of those challenges that like this has posed for me in my day to day.
Okay, so there are a couple of challenges. Like right now, I'm having a bit of tremor, right? I could just be in a place and then my hand is shaking and everybody's asking, what's wrong with you? Why is your hand shaking? And sometimes it's just awkward. I mean, most people don't know, like, they'll just be like, your hand is shaking, what's wrong? I remember shooting my first episode and everybody, was sending me message that, oh, were you nervous on the podcast? Your hand was shaking, but I couldn't say anything. I wasn't nervous on the podcast, right? I was having tremors. As a matter of fact, we shot one episode, I think branding, I can't remember the episode. And after that episode, I had like seizure on set, right? Yeah. So these are some of the things that happened. So I remember a time I had seizure at work. I've been fortunate enough to get remote roles. I work in tech, and we had this meeting, an evening call that was supposed to be like the last call before close of work. I had seizure right there on the call, and I could not finish the meeting. And I remember my boss reaching out, afterwards, and he was like, Princess, I know you. It's not like you to chicken out of a situation. What happened? And I told him, I apologized that I had the seizure on the call, and he was like, see, seizure, like, are you talking about the seizure that I know? Yeah. Because I didn't disclose that earlier that I was epileptic. Yeah. Of course, that's wrong, but for the fear that I may not get, I may not get the role. So he felt really bad and asked me if that had happened. But I told him yes, on several occasions I've had seizures, while working. These are some of the things that happen once in a while, and that they've been like situations, like cases where I had seizure, and then from seizure I've had like a full-blown psychotic episode. Yeah, I witnessed that before. You've witnessed? How many things have you witnessed?
I mean,
and then for a day or two, I don't even know what is happening, what is wrong, and it's just crazy. And I have to chip in church. So going to church is a big problem for me. I have to think twice before going to church, because basically all my triggers, you find it in church. Yeah, sound, noise. I always have to run from the camera guys, because the flash is a trigger, right? Now I have to sit at the back. I can't just come out and say, oh, I'm epileptic, right? So I just try to say, oh, the light is too much, just stay at the back, try to avoid as much as I can. As a matter of fact, I've had like seizures in church a couple of times, that now made some people to now find out, like some key people. But I think these are like the few examples I can remember right now. It's been challenging, but thank God for God and for my loved ones. I have a really good support system.
Yeah. So you asked the question just now, and I feel like you didn't ask, like, how many things have I witnessed? And I would ask you one question. I have an answer in my head, but I feel like you'll be able to give a better response to that. How frequently did this used to happen, or do these things happen? I remember one time we spent maybe less than 2 or 3 hours. In fact, throughout that period, you were having seizures up to 6 or 7 times. So how frequently do these things happen in a day? And how the time, like, how, tell us the experience, like the real thing, like, the challenge, the whole.
Okay, so honestly, things are pretty much better these days, but before now it used to be bad. I think I would have seizure every day, and when I say every day, I don't mean once every day. Even though I know my triggers, right, and I avoid my triggers, I stay indoor. Like I said, I work remotely, so there's no honking of cars, there's no me trying to board a bus, all those things. I'm inside my house, dark room, and avoiding all these triggers. But sometimes there's still things that I cannot control. It just happens. Yeah. Like, it happens. And I have like seizures like multiple times in a day. These days it's better. Like, sometimes I can even go days without seizure, right? And I think the good thing now is with much observation, I can kind of tell like when a seizure is about to happen. Like, I have this aura. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Sometimes I even have a tremor, like a serious tremor that, okay, when I start having tremor,
because
I'm having a tremor now, but I don't think I'm going to have a seizure. I mean, I can't assure you, but you guys can do it. So sometimes I have like tremor, and then it's like a tell sign that something is wrong somewhere, and then we need to do something about it. Yeah, I think I've answered your question here.
Yeah, that's every day, multiple times a day is quite. It's a lot of times to have seizures. Now you said you're much better.
Yeah.
Now there has to be something that you've been doing differently. What are the lifestyle changes you think you've taken that maybe makes you feel much better now?
So in terms of lifestyle changes, I don't know. I exercise, right? I exercise. I don't know if that's hard to like. It's a thing, but yeah. Even with my tremors and all, I exercise. Although I had to like tell my trainer about like my condition, and so we had to like manage what I'll do and the things that I will train. Basically do. Like, of course, I can't do what every other person is doing, because even without the exercise, I'm already having tremor. So we had to like just manage what I do. So I don't know if that had it to, but like I said, I feel like a little bit better, and I can manage. We have been able, because it's a whole lot of people in the background. We've been able to manage things better.
Yeah, you mentioned one particular drug. Now you said you had to stop it because of side effects. Now, what are the other common side effects? What are the side effects that we're talking about? What are the effects of these drugs, and how do they affect your life?
Okay, so of course most of these drugs have side effects, and most of the drugs that I use comes with drowsiness, right?
Okay.
And even some of these drugs also still come with tremors, right? So imagine having tremor, and then your drug still gives you like tremor. Right? So, like I used to say something there, that you use one drug to cure one thing, and then it gives you like 99 problem in return, and then you have to now find another drug to curb it. So I mean, different side effects, like comes or, but most of the common one is drowsiness and tremors for me. Yes, that I can remember right now.
So, well, another question I have is this: you have all this whole thing that you're dealing with. How do you manage them? How are you able to still be here, still doing this podcast? As a matter of fact, let me just say, one of the goals of this podcast, of this conversation basically, is to not just enlighten people about her condition, but she's trying to gear it towards a cause, a goal, and the goal is a foundation, the TAP Foundation, which is to sensitize people about this kind of conditions, to also help people that are managing this kind of condition to manage it better. How are you able to do all this all together? What is your, how are you here, madam? Tell us, what is your secret?
Well, I do have a great support system. I won't even lie. My family, my friends, they are my backbone. Like, from spending money, because obviously my money cannot solve all this problem, because the money is a lot. We'll get into that. The money is a lot. So I have a great support system, and then I think I also have my medical guides, professionals to thank. My psychiatrist, and then my therapist.
Neurologist,
neurologist. Yes.
So it's basically just family. It just takes a village, and
it takes a village. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's a cool one. That's a cool one. Now, all these things, you are here now, sitting down, smiling with us, and it's all sunshines and rainbows and all that. And when people look at this, when people watch this video, they see you and they think, oh, you seem unfazed about it. Would that be the case? Is there no emotional or mental health toll on you?
Of course there is.
Yeah, sure.
Of course there is. I did say I was clinically depressed. I mean, obviously, with all these things that I'm dealing with or have to deal with, I don't see. I mean, when I was diagnosed with that, I wasn't surprised at all, because I'm like, if I'm not depressed, won't you be surprised that I'm not depressed? Having to deal with all of this, it's a lot, because I'm the kind of person I love control, and with this health condition,
it takes a lot of control away.
You don't have control. You can't you can't plan your day. You don't know how, today is going to be, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot for me, and I don't like that. I don't like the feeling. So sometimes I'm just there like thinking, and then there's the money parts. You have to spend. The medication is very expensive. You have to spend a lot, and then I'm paying for therapy. Therapy is expensive.
Yeah.
Therapy is expensive.
Yeah.
I have to go for therapy, talk to a therapist, speak with my psychiatrist. Those things, there's just a lot, and it's just draining. It's draining. And honestly, I think out of everything, the one that drains me the most is the psychotic episode. As much as I don't remember what I
happens,
do,
yeah.
but the effect is always a lot. So I've had situations where I try to hurt people, right? There was a time that I tried to hurt my nurse, my caregiver at the time, and I didn't know what was happening. But when I was back to my normal self, I saw how I caught her hand. So I was trying to help myself, so she was trying to prevent me, and then she had I caught a hand like this. It was bleed. It was so big, and I felt bad. And there've been situations where I tried to hurt people, or I was trying to hurt myself, and somebody tried to interfere. It always leaves a lasting effect. And when I think about all of that, it's just draining. It's a lot for me. And then it just puts me in this mood that is sad, a sad mood basically.
See, I didn't want to touch on a certain aspect of my line of question yet. I wouldn't touch it now, even though I wanted to touch it. I want to ask you a little bit of more questions before I come to that. And then, basically, now all this has shaped your perspective to life. I want to know how. That's one. And then, there's some point in your life where you find yourself, I feel like it's almost every day for you, but I don't want to be the one to tell you that, where it is almost hopeless and you're just giving up and stuff like that. How do you overcome those days? And how do this whole thing shape how you view life?
Okay, so one thing for sure is, now because I said something about control, how you don't have control. So because of this health challenge that I have, I've learned to maximize the time that I have so much. People ask me, "Oh, Princess, how are you able to do something this?" If I have a day, I just plan a lot of things that I want to do. If I'm okay today, you see me writing, doing a lot of, because I know that tomorrow I might not be so fine or be up to it. So it has just taught me to make the most of the time I have, because I'm always thinking I have a limited time. I don't know, but it's just helped me learn how to maximize time and do the most that I can do in every situation. So that's question one. Two, can you
when you get to the point where you're like, oh my god, hopeless, how do you overcome those?
Honestly, I won't say that I've been able to overcome that feeling of hopelessness, because I did try to up myself multiple times, right? Because obviously I thought that was the best thing to do at the time. Thinking about it now, it's selfish. It's not something that you should do to your loved ones. It's you doing more harm than good, right? Even though at the time I didn't think of it that way. I just thought that hurting myself was going to relieve them of this burden.
Sorry to cut you short, Princess. We've not talked about this, and even though I am aware to a certain degree, we've not really talked about this, because at the time when I tried to talk to you about it, you didn't want to talk about it, and I want to put you on the spot right now and talk about it. You tried more than once you attempted suicide, and I don't want to imagine that I would be able to make a different choice if I were in your shoes. But at the same time, it is easy to speak when you're not the one in question. Do you get? And that's why I can say this right now. the whole process of trying to take your own life, to end your life, how make it make sense? And you can't make it make sense. I shouldn't even be asking you that. I think what I should be saying is, how did you get to that point where, despite the love from your friends and family, despite the support, despite your routine that is helping you to manage it, despite the fact that you have been productive with yourself, how do you come to the point where you feel like the solution would be to permanently end your own life?
I don't know if I can answer that question, right? But it just happens, and thing is, you don't get there like in one day. It's just an accumulation of you feeling sorry for yourself, you feeling helpless, you feeling hopeless. And honestly, at that point, I mean, if I can recall the last one that happened in April, right, I just thought it will bring like relief and peace to my loved ones, because they've been through a lot over the years. Them having to run up and down, like sometimes something happened in the middle of the night and they all have to start rushing to my house, doing stuff, paying for stuff, doing things, and it's just a whole lot. And not to mention that this whole thing is embarrassing and it can happen anywhere. I can be hanging out with you, we're outside, and then I'm conversing, I don't know if I can use that word, or I'm acting crazy. It's just a lot. I was just like, I think these guys are just better off, without me. I mean, now thinking about it, it was really a selfish thing to do. And I remember my younger sister, telling me, I want you to make me a promise that you'll never put me in this situation, because obviously I didn't think about it. She would have been the one to find my lifeless body if it did succeed, right? Because she was the one who found me and then had to rush me to the hospital. And I just thinking about it now, like, oh, that was a selfish thing to do. Like, it's a very bad place to be. A very bad place to be, honestly. I didn't think I would ever be in that place. Sometimes you think some things can happen to you, because one, I'm a believer, right? I know God loves me. I don't think that I'm being punished for something, or He's trying to punish me. Do you get? Have like the concept of God's love right. And now thinking about me finding myself in that situation, it's just till date I don't get it. But I mean, it did happen. I had to make my sister a promise that I would never put her in that situation. God help me, I don't ever want to be in that situation where I will try to want to take my own life.
I don't know if it would be insensitive of me to ask this, to dig further into that. When you talked about the fact that you attempted to end your life in April, what did you do? What was yours? What did you do?
For this one
What were the things you've done? Tell me for this one and for the previous ones.
It's not like a good thing to start, counting and start recalling. So I'm just going to mention two. I did try to hang myself to a fan where I went to rehab. Right, I was in a psychiatric home.
Rehab?
Yes, at one point. And honestly, thinking about all these things, I cannot even say this was what I was thinking.
And you were conscious. This is not a.
You
were conscious of yourself.
I just remember me getting up on my bed sheet. I don't know, and then I just saw the phone, like, okay, this is it. We're in the year, right? And honestly, like I've said, it's a bad place to be in. It's a bad place. And this one that happened in April.
April, the last few months.
Yes, I was feeling so much pain. I was in the house, but I could not explain it. And there've been situations like that you can't. It almost feels like you are faking something, because you cannot describe what is going on in your head, on your mind. You feel like everywhere hurts. And this is not a physical pain. I can show you that.
This is where it is.
There's a sore. This is where it is. It feels like my mind, like my heart, my chest, my head is tight and I can't breathe. And it was just me in the house. And this is not because it was just me in the house, because there have been times where I'd be amongst people and then I was contemplating on how to end it. There have been situations like that. So it didn't really have to do with maybe someone being there or not, because all these things happen in your head and in your mind. And So I was feeling that when I got up to take maybe something, I was like, okay, let me take one of my pills to maybe feel better. Do you know that in that moment, I like, fuck it, pardon my French. I just took everything, all my sleeping pills, all the pills that I have, I just emptied it and I just took it.
My goodness.
I took it and I remember sending a text to my sister, younger sister, and my guy, right? I can't remember what I said. Thank you for something or something. I can't remember. And then I was just sitting there patiently, ready to go. Now in that moment, I wasn't thinking, oh, where would I end? Hell or fire? Or that I was doing something wrong. I just wanted to relieve them. I just thought they've had enough. They've had enough embarrassments. They've spent enough. They've had enough baggage. I just wanted to end it there. Thankfully, it wasn't successful.
Yeah, thankfully, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Because, I mean, I feel like there are aspects that you've not thought about, and it is normal. I don't judge nobody. I don't think anybody would judge you given your situation on why you would want to make such decision. It's just we would want you around because of look at you now, Princess. Yes. I don't really want us to stay too much on that because it's a bit too gloomy, and I don't want you to, because you're a lighthearted person, and I don't want us to dwell too much on that. But there's something you mentioned earlier, which is embarrassing moments. Yeah, about of all these things that happen. I know it's not particularly lighthearted in those moments. It's not exactly funny in those moments, but I want to imagine there's some situations that were funny where you've had, some episodes. I remember one time a mutual friend told me that your co-workers came to your house to come and greet you for one time when you were not.
Oh my God.
Tell us about that one.
Okay, yeah, my co-worker, like, if they see this episode, of course they'll know that they're the one I'm referring to. Why I cannot speak to like what happened after or like in the process.
Yeah.
And I remember briefing this friend of mine. I don't want to say his job title. Like, I remember briefing him, like telling him about it, like briefly, not in a serious way. How I can make things really casual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not serious. I just, briefed him about it. Thankfully, I mentioned it to him, so that day it didn't seem, too strange. But of course, it was still strange.
Yeah, still shocks.
I think I was not feeling fine. I can't remember what was happening then. Maybe malaria or something. And they came to say hi, and we're in the middle of conversation. I hope I recall this correctly. We're in the middle of conversation. I just told them that I was feeling somehow, that I didn't feel too good. I feel like I would be having an episode. And lo and behold, I did have an episode. But thankfully, I didn't fight it like I always do. When I felt that something was going to go wrong, I stood up and I went straight into my room. And my nurse was around, so she followed me. And of course, she narrated the whole thing, how they had to like run to go buy for run, like they were just running up and down and trying to make everything good. And when I was back to my normal self, oh God, I was so embarrassed that oh my God, this had to happen now. But I mean, so my friend, like there were two, a male and female. The guy was like, "Oh my God, no need, like it's fine. There's nothing you can do. I don't need to be embarrassed." Like tried to like encourage me, but obviously that didn't cut it. I was still embarrassed.
What you find out is that after the fact that these things happen, the people that experience it most often times, especially your friends, which is you're kind of lucky that they never make you feel. They hardly ever make you feel bad.
Actually,
the situation.
I've been lucky.
So I think that ties off to the fact that. Culturally, especially in Nigerian society, most people attribute this ailment with some spiritual thing, and they don't understand that, like you mentioned earlier in the video, where it's just like the body falls sick, the mind also falls sick. So because they attribute so much power to this ailment, they tend to not understand. They don't have enough room to understand this kind of thing, which is not something we should be getting from health professionals. I feel like one of the things we hope this video can do is to sensitize people about this kind of thing, so that you don't run away from someone that you're supposed to run to, which is your job, as a matter of fact. But let's just let's leave that. We'll come back to something on that on that aspect. Now, the whole situation, when you look at it, and then we look at the things you've done, or the things you're doing, what motivates you to keep going? Yes, we are friends, but inward, what motivates you to keep going?
What motivates me? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I want to be a successful person, and all my life, I've always thought when I'm asked to, make a request or make a wish, it just always ends with being successful and just being happy, right? And being good at what I do, and just being able to help people, to be in a place where I'm able to give back to the community and things like that. So, I think, let me just say, being able to do things for other people, right? Being able to do something for myself and for other people, to be in a place where I can also, help other people, provide for them. And that motivates me, because honestly, it's not really about my dreams right now, because if it were about just my dreams, I think I would have given up. Yeah.
So it's basically your need to do something bigger than yourself that keeps you going, which is a very good thing to motivate anybody out there. It's a good one. So now, again, you had a goal in mind, you had an objective in mind for having this conversation, and one of the objectives is that you want to sensitize people.
Yeah.
You want to collect people like yourself in a community that you can support each other, you can support them. And then you started the foundation. One of the things that I have come to discover, even though I'm not even the one spending the money, is that managing these conditions is, forgive my French, shitly fucking expensive. I have seen how much you spend in the hospital.
Oh my God.
One time I was in the hospital, I know how much some of the drugs cost. I sometimes ask myself, how do you do it? Of course, we know that family and friend and Rishi comes and then your person, but like, it is expensive. And some people are not so lucky to have that kind of advantage, which is family and friends that you have. And that's why you started the foundation. One of the reasons for the foundation is to help people to manage, get the right therapist. I think in the last video you said something. You said you had access to some more affordable therapy.
Yeah.
Before I continue in my rambling, tell us about that.
Okay, so you know how I talked about how expensive therapy is?
Yes.
Well, I did find like a couple of platforms that provide affordable like therapy session, which I can definitely share with anyone that needs them. Right?
Okay, so I want you to look at the camera. Talk to people like you. Tell them something. Let them know. Let them hear you speak, if they could hear you.
Okay, so I want to say I know how you feel, but honestly, it's different from each and every one of us. But I want to still say that I see you, and I want you to hang in there. I know it's difficult. I know you're hurting, but you'll be fine. It will get better. And please don't skip your medications. I know how difficult it is to live on drugs and how expensive that can be. But for now, we don't have any choice but to stick to our medications, because they're actually helpful. Like, they help you manage your condition or situation better. And this foundation that I founded, TAP Foundation, is for people like us, where we can come together, support each other, just share whatever it is that we are feeling. And hopefully in the future, I don't know, I want to be able to like fund people, people that don't have enough money to maybe get therapy or drugs or whatever. So I want the CAP Foundation to be about awareness, let people know about these things.
Yeah.
For example, you knowing what to do when you see someone seizing or having a seizure.
A lot of people
You know
need
that you're supposed to turn them on the side. You
Yes.
know, supposed to clear things around them, not
Yes.
run away. Do you get? I want to create a community where people are able to open up, to talk about what they are going through, and then maybe get funding to, you know, for their upkeep, for their medications and things like that. Hopefully we can achieve that.
So, just in case the people that we're trying to get to do not understand what we're trying to say, especially for the Ayeni Princess Foundation, that requires a lot of funding. But beyond funding, which is a very key criteria for such an endeavor, we also need support in aspects of sharing the word, you know, sharing the message, spreading the word, and just putting the word out there, and just supporting in every other way that you can. So to get in touch with Princess for that, I think you have an email, like a way to contact you. So please share with us.
You can reach me. So if you're suffering from any form of mental illness, right, it doesn't have to be what I'm suffering from, and you just need someone to talk to, you just want to have someone that understands you or is in your situation, you can always chat me up. You can always reach me on Instagram at the Ayeni Princess, THED Ayeni Princess, or you can shoot me an email, you know, at Princess Teame. The Teame is spelled TEAMEE at gmail.com. And if you also want to volunteer, help in any way, monetary or in whatever form, you can also send me a message as well.
Now, before we wrap, that's where we're wrapping it off right now. You might have a word for the society. You know, how would you want the society to? What do you want to say to the society to make them accommodate you better?
I think I just want to say, let's lead with love and empathy. It's very important.
Yes.
And also, I remember refrain from giving unsolicited advice, right? When somebody tells you they are going through something, you see that first urge to say, oh,
do this or do that.
Join NLP prayers. I'm sorry I'm using NLP. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Oh, have you prayed? Have you fasted? Please just refrain from doing that. It's okay to pray, but you can pray for them in the corner of your room. You can say a word of prayer, but don't say it, because when you say it in that moment, it makes it feel as though, oh, they did something wrong or God is punishing them for something. Do you get? So just don't say the first thing that comes to your head. Just lead with love. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Just say, oh, or just, you know, letting them know that you're there for them is enough. It's just what we want.
All right. Then, well, I think we have a lot more we could really talk about, because some of the things we talked about, we could really break them down into segments and really talk about them individually at length. But for now, we know now what Ayeni Princess deals with. We know about her to a very large extent, and we may not be able to relate with her struggles, but we can see it as much as she can tell us. And I think it was a very lovely conversation. We've had this like 2 times already, but it's nice to share this with the audience. And I'm glad to have you on your show.
Thank you, Tony Johnson. I totally enjoyed this conversation, even though I was skeptical, you know, making this video in the first place. But I'm happy if this video can help educate someone out there. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, for watching this episode. Make sure to leave a comment, like this video, let me know what you think. And for mental health patients, I don't know what name to give us. Feel free to connect and say hi. And
also let them share the video. Share the video. Because a lot of people need to hear about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you.
All right. Now, see you guys.